Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there. Welcome to New Life Live. Glad you're with us here today. Milan Yerkovich is in the studio right along with Alice Benton, and we are glad they are. You know, guys, we were talking the last time we were together with folks about anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I think ever since Adam blew it with Eve, I think people have experienced various degrees of anxiety. Sometimes we can get a little uneasy, and that leads us to get some help, or it leads us to work a little harder or look at some areas of our lives. But some people have this chronic anxiety. They won't do anything other than try harder. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it doesn't work
to
try harder. Just as simple. And like I said on the December 7th show, an antidepressant changed my life. I also have exercised my whole life. I've also, watched my diet and so on and so forth. And then, of course, there's always supplements and there's always things you can do in diet that are very important. Mm-hmm. But, in physics, there's no such thing as a self-perpetuating machine. It needs external energy to keep movement going. That's a phenomenon of this world. Anxiety is the exception. It perpetuates itself. It feeds itself and keeps itself going, and then it accelerates itself, and it grows on itself, and it takes the person hostage. And I lived like that. I grew up like that, and it wasn't until midlife that I was able to address that and begin to be able to conquer that, and now I don't suffer from that
what a
anymore. Gift. Yes, it's a real blessing, and it also involved a lot of personal work to address the things that precipitated the anxiety, and to face my reality of what made me frightened, scared, and so on. So I had to do work in a lot of directions.
I was surprised to find that for me, and I think for a lot of people, pride played a big role in my anxiety, in that I wanted to control things that were out of my control. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be omnipresent. I wanted to control what other people were doing. And so, and I didn't want to admit that I struggled with anxiety. I didn't want to admit that I needed help. I want to be self-sufficient. I want to look better to all of you than I actually am. And when I was able to see it as prideful, and that there was actually, for me, sin involved in my anxiety, entering into the humility of asking for help and receiving it, opened the door up and brought me relief I didn't know was possible.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I think that's so important what you just said. Donald Winnicott 100 years ago, a psychiatrist and pediatrician, said we have a false self and a real self. And so anxious people are very controlling to present that false self of competency. And that was me too.
Mm-hmm. Kind of parroting what you said there, Alice, I found one of the greatest insights that lowered my anxiety was when I was instructed, told, reassured it was not all up to me. That I did not have to bear every burden, and certainly not alone. And that was a really great thing to know later in life. So if you're struggling with anxiety, we can help you. And boy, I'll tell you, nothing to make it worse than to try to keep it a secret and because guess what? People see you. They see you. And it's pretty obvious that you're struggling. So get some help. We'll help you. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll be back right after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help I had to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every man's battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book. It showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, January 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every man's battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We're going to go to the calls. Alice Benton. She's Dr. Alice Benton. And in practice there in Southern California, Milan Yerkovich, Relationship 180. And, both of them have tremendous clinics of their own that can really help. And we can point you there if you're interested, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. So many things are online now. You might say, well, I can't go there. Well, you could, just if you had a tablet or a laptop. That's all it takes. 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out about anything that we have. Let's go to Elaine, Billings, Montana, KWLY. Hi there. How are you?
Hi there. I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How's it going?
Hi. Okay. It's going. I always feel blessed because I have Jesus in my life, but I've got a question regarding my marriage.
Okay.
Okay, so I got, long story short, just so you have a piece of the background, I saved myself for marriage until I was 38 years old. It was a very long single journey, but that was my conviction, and so I got married and had conceived immediately on my honeymoon and jumped right into the family of having a baby and being married. And I married somebody who I had deep respect for and met online on eHarmony. My question is, when I married him, he had almost 4 years clean and sober, and had become an alcoholic, and said that God had delivered him, and he was so glad to be clean. And long story short, after 1 year of marriage, he picked up, and it's been a battle off and on now for 5, almost 6 years. And my question is, I have been struggling off and on for 5 years with him on how to have respect for him when he's continually choosing the wrong thing. And he's got all the help he could have. He's been to Celebrate Recovery. He's been, he has counselors in his life. He has a pastor reaching out to him. We're involved in church. It's like one of those situations where all the right things are in place, but he's making the wrong choices.
Yeah. Well,
And I just,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Elaine. Finish up.
I've gone to counselors, and God has really put some quality people in my life. But I'm increasingly struggling with not becoming bitter or resentful because it's affecting my 3-year-old and 5-year-old. We have 2 girls now, and I want to do my marriage God's way, but it's hard for me to even be intimate with him because he'll say things like he doesn't understand why I'm not making myself more available for him, and it's like becoming this 5-year history of, well, I don't even like you very much anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just jump in here, Elaine. Let me jump in here for a second.
Yeah.
You said that you were curious about how to respect him, but there's nothing that you've said that is respectable about him. So if you show respect to a disrespectful person or person without respect, then isn't that really living a lie? So I just want to say
Exactly.
that okay,
Yes.
so anybody that's telling you you have to respect this man who needs to do whatever it takes to get better, well, that's not very good advice. Now, if you had listened to our program for about 5 years, when he said, when you were dating, I am so grateful I was delivered, then you would have said, that is so great that God delivered you from that. What program are you in so that you continue to grow and never relapse back into it? Because deliverance does not deliver us from a need to grow and recover. It's just a special little gift that I'm not going to crave it today, so I can work harder on the recovery program that I'm in. Milan, what are you thinking about this, and what would be her next step?
Elaine, I'm going to ask you a hard question here. You met on eHarmony, and then what kind of premarital counseling did you get?
So we met with our pastor, and who has been my pastor for years and respected him, and actually knew my soon-to-be husband since he was a child, was his soccer coach, and has seen him grow up. And he had grown up in a Christian church, in a Christian school actually, but had a very colorful past, was rebellious for many of those years, high school and after. And then went extreme. My husband kind of has these extreme seasons of his life. Then he went extreme into abstinence and spoke to kids about it. And so he's kind of got this extreme.
So Elaine,
But we did.
Elaine, that's just kind of the point. Extremism is dangerous. Extremism
Yes.
is not something that you want to find yourself in close proximity to. I avoid extremists like the plague. People with tendencies toward extremism. A lot of people think, well, that's a lot of zealous, and I'm sold out for Jesus, and I go, let me look at you on another day. So I think the point is sometimes we get surprised down the line, and we didn't really end up. We ended up. We don't. And I empathize with you, Elaine, because I think the church is very deficient in this particular area of helping people thoroughly vet a life partner, and it really is troublesome. But the fact that he had a stubborn, rebellious history, he's still that right now, is he not?
Yeah, that's what I'm experiencing, and I'm sad about it.
I know you are, and God bless
and
you. And you have a 3 and a 5-year-old little girls, and it's really hard. I get it. The only thing that I think you can do is to set a boundary with him, and a boundary that is just super serious. This has to stop. You have to not. The goal isn't just to be sober. The goal is to be sober, plus I understand what is making me want to do these extreme things. I understand why I'm extreme.
Right.
I understand why I'm rebellious. I understand why I go from one end of the spectrum to the other, and I can control that. And so I would set a boundary with him that could even include getting legal advice, how to do that, to make that absolutely be something he has to pay attention to. And otherwise, if you're not really tough with him, he may never change. And then he wonders, so why aren't you adoring me like everybody else? Why aren't you just falling all over me like you should be? And the answer is, well, you're not that desirable right now. But can he face that, or is he still living under the delusion that I'm everything I think I am? So I would really work with someone to help set up boundaries.
Elaine,
Okay.
I have heard you laugh a couple times as
Yeah.
you've talked to us, and I know that there is terror and great sadness, and I hope anger behind that laughter, because you have, yes.
Oh, yes. You nailed it. I have anger like I've never had in my entire life, and
And
I
Elaine,
want
Elaine,
to
Elaine,
guard my heart and-
you're fighting the anger. I think you're calling righteous anger bitterness and resentment, and you're trying to distance yourself from a righteous anger that's screaming, protect yourself, protect these babies. His behavior and probably his words are already saying, and have been saying for years, I'm not getting help. I'm not doing anything about this. Not really. Maybe I'll go to some meetings, but I'm not changing. I'm not changing. And I believe you and your kiddos, you and your daughters are at some level of danger because your husband is saying, respect me, but what he really means is tolerate all my sinful behavior, tolerate it, and come into the bedroom and have sex with me. And that is so wrong. That's so wrong for you and your girls. And so it is likely time to take the next step where you've already made the request of, I need you to change, I need you to get help. And if you haven't said that clearly, say that clearly. But then you got to put teeth to it.
Right.
Because, Elaine, what are you going to do when he continues to say no or to do the surface level, but not the deeper work you and your girls desperately need him to do?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's, I am available at all levels of intimacy to a kind, sober husband.
Right.
I am not available to an alcoholic, mean husband. And that's why I'm sleeping in a different room. Maybe that's why I am talking to an attorney about a legal separation. Maybe that's somebody needs to leave this house until you're sober and kind. And if it's not going to be you, the girls and I are finding another place to live, because his behavior is telling you your words and your request don't mean much to him at all.
All right, so
Right.
here's the verse.
I'm open to that.
Here's the verse that I've quoted more than any other verse. Jeremiah 6:14. They treat the deep wounds of my people with superficial treatment, and from prophets and priests, and they don't even blush at the damage that they cause. Now, this is not a situation where cute advice, superficial advice is going to help you here. He has an addiction. It's killing your marriage. It's destroying your spirit. And it's literally tainting the future of your children.
Yeah, it is.
So this is serious. And if you don't do something, it's going to get worse. He is not going to one day wake up. Now listen to me real carefully. He's not going to one day wake up and say, wow, today's a great day for me to get better. No, he's going to hang on as long as he can hang on. And I think that's why you have to make some bold moves. Not because you want to divorce him or hurt him. You want him to get better. Now, I think he lied to himself about the deliverance, and I think he lied to you. And so now we're dealing with the consequences. If I was you, I'd be back in the office of that pastor that gave you such horrible premarital advice because he kind of idealized this guy, and say, you need to help me with him. You need to help me talk with him, both of us, because it's obvious that whatever deliverance he had, it left, and we need to get him some help. So I would call on him to use his influence to get him to agree to get some help.
Right. Okay.
Anything else either Alice or Milan want to add here before we say goodbye?
Elaine, a good Christian wife says no and backs it up with her behavior, and you will be a hero for yourself, for your daughters, and taking these difficult, awful steps will be the best thing you can do, and the best thing a Christian wife can do for her husband who's floundering and who's becoming toxic and poisonous to his family.
Yeah. I'm really glad you called,
Okay,
and I
thank
think
you so much.
yeah, you're welcome. Hold on, I want to send you a Life Recovery Bible and a workbook. And I think that workbook and the Bible could get him back on the right track, and anybody else, you can get a Life Recovery Bible at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Whatever you are struggling with, we want to help you. There's an app. It's called the New Life app. You can download it. There's a lot of great video teaching there. And you just go to the App Store, and it's the New Life app. I also want to remind you, Larry Sonnenberg has told us many times there is a $200,000 gift. If we can match it, we get it, and we don't get it until it is. And so please help us if you possibly can. Every dollar is worth two. And our next Every Man's Battle is coming up January the 9th. And it is so great to see how many men have availed themselves of this one-day experience, and then life is never, ever the same. And you can find out about that at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and newlife.com. We'll take a break. We'll come back for more of New Life Live. If you're watching online live, it's 1-800-229-3000. Hope you're getting ready for a great, wonderful Christmas. I mean, this is a Christmas to really, really take stock of our lives and what we need to do to make them better.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, February 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here with Milan Yerkovich. Milan and I are doing the intimacy in marriage with his wife, Kay. And I got to tell you, I've said this before, but I was on a phone call, and there was a couple that said a year prior to going, they were done. It was over. I mean, it was horrible. And they lived that horrible year and then finally went to our intensive, intimacy and marriage intensive. And that was a year ago. They've never been more in love. They understand. He said, I thought intimacy was just about sex. I never understood intimacy till I went. And they have had the best ever experience in their marriage. Intimate, happy. It was wonderful to talk with them. That could be you. But you have to call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and let us tell you about it.
Well, and what's incredible about this weekend, there's so many things. It is for those that are facing divorce, and it's for those who are doing well and want an upgrade, want a tune-up. I have gotten to attend this weekend multiple times working as a group leader. I take copious notes every time because I learn more. My marriage is improved because of what I learned, because of what I'm reminded of in the weekend, and I'm inspired and motivated. And the portion that the weekend covers, especially about sexual intimacy, is so helpful because most of us have really been ignorant about how to handle all levels of intimacy well. So few of us were taught by our own parents, saw the modeling, and you get all of that in this action-packed workshop.
Thank you, Alice. It really is true. And I think we do it in a way, Milan, that isn't embarrassing. It's not all about sexual intimacy, but we do cover that, but we cover the foundation before we cover anything physically sexual. Because
well, I love what the gentleman said regarding the definition of intimacy.
Yeah.
So many people exclusively reserve that word for sexuality, and intimacy is something we enjoy with God by Him living inside of us and us, our bodies being the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. That's an intimate experience, you see. So intimacy is emotional, spiritual, cognitive, relational, and the goal is to build a friendship with your spouse with high levels of love and respect, that both people feel seen and known at multiple levels. And then sexuality is an easier step for especially women. And so learning that is something I had to learn to do. I, like the person's testimony just a moment ago, I was very much in that camp 40 years ago myself, and we had to grow out of that.
Yeah. Well, you call us 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We can tell you all about it. If you've got a pretty good marriage, I think once you're finished with the workshop, it's going to be great. And if you have a horrible marriage, I think we might be able to salvage it for you. And then, just like that couple, you end up with a marriage. He said, it's never been this good. We never even dreamed that we could have something this great in our marriage. And if you want info on that, it's 1-800-NEWLIFE. Let's go to Leah. Vineland, New Jersey, WFIL is the station. Hi there. How are you?
Yes, hi. I appreciate New Life, and thank you for taking my call. The reason why I was calling, I was wondering how I can help my sister. She's 53 years old. She's been under counseling, for a few years. After 16 years, she lost a really good job because they felt that she wasn't performing, up to her utmost. And right now she's living with a friend, taking care of their mother, so she's not homeless. But she's lived with all the family members, and there's a lot of arguing. And like my husband and I were talking, I said, if she loses this position, I don't want her like homeless. And he said, and he feels, the same way. But he goes, Leah, our house is peaceful, and when she's here, it's not peaceful. So I didn't know. Right now, we're trying to get her on disability for some emotional, because we're not sure if she's going through a change of life or what. But I was wondering what's the best way that I can, help her in this way.
Well, I would really listen and honor what your husband is saying there. He's going to be a little more objective to you. And if it was in my situation, I would be trying to do everything I could other than move her in. I would be trying to help her with disability, Social Security, anything that I could think of to help her. And it might even come down to giving a little bit of support to her monthly versus having her come in to the home. Because what you want is, you don't want her collapsing into this helpless state. You want her to pick her life up and get back out there and be proud of herself and happy that she can earn her way. Alice, your thoughts here, and then we'll go to Milan.
Leah, is your sister disabled mentally or physically?
The emotionally right now, the job just saw that after 16 years, this last year, while she lost the job, they said, you're getting lost while you're driving, you seem confused, and things like that. And she'll admit that. She'll say, I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm getting confused, I'm argumentative.
So Leah, she may have some memory or some cognitive impairment. She also has some character issues that she doesn't seem to be facing. And when someone is argumentative and unpleasant and ungrateful, they usually need more truth and consequences than the coddling kind of help that we want to give them. So we'll come back after the break to give you more of what to do with that.
All right, we'll be back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We're talking with Leah. Alice, let's go to you and then Milan on what you think. I gave my 2 cents here. What do you think?
Leah, before she loses her position here, I think it would be wise for you to go to her with grace and truth to let her know what kind of help you're able to give and what you're not able to give, which will probably include not having her in your home, and to point out that her argumentativeness is problematic and it's burning bridges. Being clear like that will set you up better to be able to hold to that when she does lose this position and when she does lose this home.
And another thing is she has admitted to everything. She deep down inside, she's the sweetest, most loving, giving person. Just to give you just a short synopsis of her life, my mother remarried after my father died, and so I'm the only one from my mother's first marriage, so I'm much older than they are. And my mother married a person that after about 5 years was paranoid schizophrenic. So as a child and the other children, they're doing really well. They seem, to kind of cope with what they went through. But Fran, being the baby, it really affected her. I'm here. She's 53, and she's still battling with the scars of my stepdad.
That's really
tragic. And Leah, you said this earlier. You said, well, maybe she's going through a change of life, AKA menopause and things like that. That's also possible. But the bottom line, too, is as you said, she's had a traumatic history. And anxiety can also make you confused. Anxiety can help you get disoriented. But I think what's really important here, Leah, these 2 pieces of information that her employers witnessed, you're confused and you get lost while you're driving, is really important for her to get a very thorough medical exam, neurological exam, because I've seen this before with family members that, you see a loss, but then you're able to quantify and qualify that, because sometimes this is an indication of some sort of cognitive decline, such as something that affects the brain, and there are many, many things that do affect the brain. So I'd really recommend that she get a full physical workup. You're in New Jersey. You've got great medical care all around you, over in Cleveland and New York, et cetera, et cetera. So I highly recommend that you get a good full medical workup on Leah, on your sister Leah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And surely,
far from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, great,
Would you
great.
recommend like University of Pennsylvania?
Everything there, it just is amazing on the coast, of course.
I have to believe that there is a problem here, that like you're talking about, mine, that it's a cognitive function and deterioration if she's getting lost, and to the extent that the employer knows she's getting lost. It's not just stuff on the job, but they know what's going on. So I'm really glad she's got you. You know, sometimes these situations, you just wonder if this other person wasn't there caring for them, what would happen? Well, they'd probably be homeless, or
Right.
you know, you'd never hear from them again.
Steve, I feel strongly, too, that even with disorders, mental health disorders, cognitive disorders, that it's still not reason to tolerate mistreatment, abusive behavior. So we can both have compassion for someone like this, but also have strong boundaries so that we protect our hearts and protect our homes. And that enables us to continue to help long term. Because if we allow people to burn us out, then we can't continue to love them well and help them well. So differentiating and combining those two things of compassion and boundaries helps us to serve better in the long run.
Well said.
Very well said. And, you know, one of the strange things is that sometimes when people are hopeless and helpless, they're also manipulative. And we have to be careful about that. We want to help them long term, which sometimes means a little bit of temporary hurt is in order, even though they don't want that. Who would? All right, let's go over here. And on line one, I've got Joey, Columbus, Ohio, Sirius XM Satellite Radio. Hey there, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing great, or I'm doing pretty good here. The call dropped, so I'm glad that I was able to get back on today. You guys are pretty slow, I hear. Not slow,
Thank
but you know the lines are open.
Right. Well, how can we help? What's going on?
Well, I was listening a little bit to some of the callers here, and you know my question still is just a little bit different than the ones that I've heard so far. This is Steve?
Yeah, it is.
I like your show a lot. I like the way that you guys I like the way that you guys give advice. So I was just kind of wondering, the basis of my question was basically, you know, in a relationship, how to basically deal with being a lot more close quarters, being in a lot more closer quarters with each other than usual. And see, the thing is that, you know, now we're starting to just be a lot more together in the house and whatnot because of the pandemic. And so a lot of things have really just surfaced, I would say, that maybe we wouldn't have seen if we were able to, you know, if we're able, you know, go out and do that sort of thing, and you know, just all these traumatic
And Joey, which specific relationship are you describing? With whom?
I'm basically describing the relationship that I'm in right now. I'm very happy in it. There's just a few things that about myself, and I've heard that I've noticed that we just really need some help on, because I'm trying to just live right by the Lord, and I'm basically I've come to realize a few things since the pandemic. It really just helped me to slow down. You know, there was a lot of trauma in my childhood. You know, like there was a lot of that fight or flight, you know, that repetitive experience, you know. And with that, as a young child, you know, that some of that trauma carried on to my adult life and teenage life. So, you know, naturally there was things in there like, you know, from the trauma there was pain, there was anger, there was resentment, passive, and then that just led on to, you know, passive aggressive thoughts and actions, and you know, even things that I might say, you know, into everyday life situations that spilled out, and you know, including my relationship and stuff. So
So Joey,
and then I realized
with the close quarters that you're in and the way so many things have shut down, are you saying that in your relationship with, I think it's a girlfriend, that things are being revealed both about your character and also about her character that are concerning to you? Is that right?
I wouldn't necessarily say concerning, just things that need to be addressed. I mean, some things definitely, sure. There's a lot of things with trauma that came. For example, I guess a little bit of background. I was physically, verbally, and emotionally, whatever, all the types of abuse that could have come from being a child who had parents like I did. And I realized that all of these things that I was talking about, such as the pain and anger, resentment, it led me to live a life of passive aggressiveness per se. Because like passiveness, I believe it's good.
And Joey, if you gave us an example, one example of how that is affecting your current dating relationship, and perhaps one thing you're seeing in her, just briefly, that's coming to your attention more right now, what would it be?
Okay. Well, I'll give you one that kind of piggybacks off one of the other callers, just as an example, because it kind of sheds some light into the other side.
Okay.
My father was very controlling and a narcissist as I was a young boy. So he would do a bunch of narcissistic things, but he would neglect me and beat me and yell at me and scream at me, and I would get triggered. And so sometimes during arguments, I get loud and I scream and I just beat myself up over it. I've just come to the Lord during the pandemic, actually. I thought I was a Christian for many years, but I wasn't, and it's just one of those things that you don't know you're a Christian until you know that you weren't one before. Now you are. So
Joey, I want to tell you this confession is fantastic, and I want you to know I like you even more with your honest confession of an ugly part of your character that's not in your control and that is hurting you and your girlfriend. Could you give us a question of what you want from us now that you've seen this in yourself and it's similar to your abusive father? What do you need from us?
I want to learn how to better my process of forgiveness, because I believe that that's like the right step to do. I need to forgive myself first for beating myself up so much and realize that it's my dad. I'm an adult now. But I'm 26. But I need to learn these steps because they're really affecting my life, and I don't have a father.
Joey, we can help you with that. We're going to a commercial break.
I'm glad you called.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, February 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. New Life. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here, and we're talking with Joey, and Alice is talking with Joey here. And Joey, it sounds like to me that you're a wonderful guy in the eyes of your girlfriend, and you've been spending a lot more time with her, and you've become a little less wonderful. Would that be? Because that's what's happening to a lot of us who are spending more time with the people we love. Is that what's going on?
Yes. I've actually bettered myself quite a bit thanks to my faith, the Lord's grace. The only thing is there's these things that I experienced from past trauma caused me ultimately to do passive-aggressive and abusive things in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that way anymore. There was never physical. It was just me saying really mean things and yelling and stuff.
Yeah.
And now that I'm a different person, genuinely and truly, and I can see the ugliness of basically when I started to recognize what I was doing, I started having flashbacks of my dad doing that to me in the moment.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so that was the moment that I realized that everything happened the way that it did. So now I'm changing, and my girlfriend is seeing a lot of really positive changes.
But what's the question for us
now
that you want us to answer?
I want to know how to deal with. I want to learn. I want to know how I can basically restructure my thinking and development, because I don't really have like a fatherly figure to go to that knows me well. So I can't really go and get advice from him as to how to grow in that relationship.
Joey, that's the key. You and God are not enough to really get the healing that you need. Even though God is completely sufficient, his plan is that godly men, fatherly men, would come around you to help you through this and to help you out of this. You probably need a couple different levels of help, even though you've improved so much, and I'm very proud of you. But you also minimize it a little bit. It's just mean. It was just mean talk. Ooh, that's a dangerous phrase, because the mean words that you use against your girlfriend, even if it's better, those leave lasting emotional scars. And as the relationship progresses, and when you have children one day, all that stress added on will probably bring out more of these character traits. So your work has begun, and that's fantastic. And now I want you to get trauma work, and I want you to get into a group of men. And even with the shutdown, there's actually more available because of all the online groups that you can join. And it will be those relationships with men, a therapist who addresses trauma with you and sticking with that consistently, that will just enhance these good changes you've already made in yourself. And I'm proud of you, Joey.
Yeah, Joey,
Milan, you have a thought here?
Joey, I'm very proud of your observations and your self-reflection. That's not easy, your self-awareness, etc. Joey, relationships are the great exposer. Relationships expose who we are and what is inside. A lot of people are enamored with falling in love and romance, and that's the easy part of love, okay? But with a lot of time together and higher levels of concentrated togetherness, our weaknesses begin to be made more evident. You use the word passive-aggressive a lot, and it's actually, while that may be true, what's really happening also is you're simply plain old aggressive. It's not passive. It's anything but passive. When you're screaming, it's true aggression. But you're right in linking it to your hurt, your pain, your trauma. And as Alice said, a trauma specialist, and then other men and women. I just can't tell you how much my wife has built into my life, and other females also. So we need men and women that can tell us and show us what love looks like and what care looks like. And that's just really important.
Yeah.
So I just really want to encourage you to jump into some therapy with a trauma specialist, and people that will help you in your Christian faith as well.
I think the prescription of the day is getting into some kind of counseling, some kind of men's Bible study or support group, and avail yourself to some of these guys, older guys that, you know, can really compensate for some of the stuff that old dad didn't do there for you, and that's very unfortunate. But I think you're on the right track, and no one has ever gone wrong by doing the right thing. You just need to do the right thing. And I hope you'll do that in your dating life and in every other area. And I'm really glad you called. I'm going to send you Every Man's Bible and Take Your Life Back. I think that'll be a great combination for you. Speaking of combination, Larry knows the combination to the safe of New Life, and he knows there's a matching gift right inside there. And Larry, tell us about that. We're getting close to the end here.
Yes, we need your support as we come to the end of the year. December is a big month. It's an important month. People are looking for their tax deductions and things like that. But the reason I want you to give, I'm going to read you a testimony. If you think you can support this kind of effect, this ministry having this kind of effect on people. This is from a intimacy and marriage workshop. The wife writes about her husband, Mike. She says, Mike and I have gone through a lot in our marriage. We fell in love like crazy 25 years ago. And through jobs, children, health issues, addictions, we found this conference. And for the first time ever, we started talking with each other. It's so scary to really see the brokenness in us and how fragile we are, to also see how reckless we have been to each other. I'm forever changed. I will never be able to see my husband the same. I have new eyes, ears, and heart for God and our marriage. And that's what we're striving at.
You bet.
You know, we're looking for people to see life differently, to see how God sees it, to change the way that they think because they understand and can follow what Christ is telling us to follow. So if you can support that, folks, that's what we're asking you to do. Matching gift of $200,000. A couple of days ago, when this program was recorded, we were at $82,000. So we're gaining on it, but we need to finish it off before the month is out. And we'd love for you to join Club New Life. Call and ask about that.
Well, thank you, Larry, for that. And anybody that can help us, wants to help, that phone number is 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's where you call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. It's also the number to call if you need some help. Anything else you want to add there, Larry?
Yes, I want to thank everybody who has been giving. I want to thank the folks that gave the seed money for the match and everybody who is sending gifts in to match it. We can't do this all by ourselves. It's a community affair, and you folks are really important. And every time I say thank you, I'm saying thank you on behalf of all those people that come to New Life looking for help in their struggles, and they find a resource, and they see how God moves and makes a difference.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Larry. You know, really, we cannot do this ministry without you, and here we are. I mean, 1988 we started out, and our whole vision for this was transformation, and we are transforming more lives today than ever before. It's just a great thing that the COVID virus didn't shut down our ability to help people not just get better, but to experience a transformation in marriage, their individual life, their life with the Lord. So if you are excited about people transforming their lives, please help us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We really need your help, and we just can't thank you enough. And I can't thank Milan and Alice for being here with us. It's wonderful to have both of you there, and all of you who listen, watch, and pray for us. Thank you so much. We're going to see you right here again tomorrow, same old time. Right
Steve, thank you for leading the parade here.
Amen.
You're welcome. I've always wanted to be a drum major, and I've loved it every minute.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.